Chronic Lyme disease is one of the most controversial and misdiagnosed diseases here in Canada. Today, I'd like you to meet Ali Kirby. She has been diagnosed with Lyme disease and she talks to us about her struggles with it.
Well, for the first 3 years, I didn't know anything about ticks or Lyme disease, and I'd just become so ill that I'd gone from doctor to doctor. No one seemed to know what it was.
Lyme disease is a serious illness caused by the bite of two species of ticks, black-legged ticks, sometimes called deer tick, and western black-legged ticks.
I cried every time I went to the doctor because they more or less made it feel like I was just making it all up.
Dr. Alana Berg is a naturopathic physician here at iQuest.
Chronic Lyme is where patients often have fatigue. They'll have a lot of neurological symptoms, aches and pains, joint pain. Often they're diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Problem is we don't have efficient testing in Canada for chronic Lyme, so a lot of times the cases are missed.
So I go for a run of about 8 good days in a row, and then I'll go through some really bad days, and then I'll have some more good days.
What I do is I use a lab in the States. In chronic Lyme, typically you won't find high amounts of the bacteria in the blood, and that's why a lot of times it gets missed.
Well, I'm coming here to iQuest 2 to 3 times a week, and they're working on just building my core and to rebuild my strength, because at the point I couldn't even lift up a plastic tube. I am going to the States to see a Lyme literate doctor who sends his notes to help these guys along here too.
You know, if you look at statistics on how many people are being diagnosed in Canada as opposed to the US, there's a huge difference, and we share the same border.
I'm finally heading down the right path and the right road to recovery. On the other hand, I feel like I've lost 7 years of my life, and I had one grandchild almost 2 years ago now, and only for the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks could I hold him. And if you start having like flu-like symptoms or feeling, not yourself, then you need to go to a doctor. But the doctor also needs to listen to you, and that was the hardest part, was getting the doctors to listen.
Finding a physician, whether that's a naturopath or a medical doctor, that can understand what you're going through, you'll therefore get the proper treatment. It can be very debilitating and quite chronic, and the sooner the diagnosis, the better the outcome.